Welcome everybody to BBN at 8, and as always, it's your Sports Guy Clif right here coming from the Skybox. Hey, this week I got some pretty important topics to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump right into them. My first topic deals with Michigan State University and the terrible time they're having right now. They're dealing with Dr. Nassar, who was already convicted and sentenced to molesting girls during his supposed practice as a doctor. Now, the problem is that, once you peel the cover off something like that and you're able to prove it, now we have to understand what was it historically at the university that was happening. Well, it's the investigations have been opened up, and now we're starting to find out the worst. There were cover-ups. That's right. We have people from the basketball program, from the football program, all these Title IX issues. We had these victims coming forth, giving their testimonies, giving their accounts of all this stuff, and Michigan State was covering it up. And you already know it's bad because the athletic director and the president, both of them have already resigned. And now there are many protests going on the university that's trying to get the actual board of trustees from that whole state to get up out of there. And you know what? They should. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It may be part of our society for women to be on the short end of the stick when it comes to sexual assaults, but it should have never become nomenclature. Should never been a part of the norm and common acts within any form of our society, but it has. And we took the celebrity of coaches, players at the college level and put that ahead of the safety of women in those environments. And now you better believe there is going to be a snowball effect, not just at Michigan State, but everywhere. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an individual, and depending on what your job is, and you're involved in some kind of history of sexual assault or something, and it wasn't quite handled right, and the rules were bent to cover up, your day is coming, just like Dr. Nassar and Michigan State. And on the athletic side, don't be surprised if they get the death penalty for all athletic programs there at Michigan State. Now, moving on to the NBA, we had a big trade come through. That's right, Blake Griffin left the Los Angeles Clippers and went to the Detroit Pistons. Same colors, red, white, and blue, all that good stuff. But totally different environment. Now, this is what's interesting. The Clippers just signed an extension, re-signed Blake Griffin for like $170-something million. But then you trade him. But you know what that tells me? What my better mind says is that once Doc Rivers lost control of the team and Chris Paul left, they said, we have to keep one of our superstars. We have to keep Blake Griffin because he's a lifelong Clipper. But really, management knew at that point they were going to blow up the team. I think they're even looking to get rid of DeAndre Jordan. So at one point in time, you had that trio there. They were all happy and honky-dory. But now it looks like it's trouble in LA, and they might be hitting the reset button. But hey, Blake Griffin has a new home over there with the Pistons. His first game, he had a double-double. Look for him and that team to have greener pastures. Hopefully they can make some noise out there in the East because the Eastern Conference is a little bit weaker than the Western Conference. Detroit got a bona fide superstar. But hopefully, I didn't realize this until I did some research, he dates Kendall Jenner. Now, technically, she's not a Kardashian, but hopefully that Kardashian curse doesn't follow him to the Motor City. Now, lastly, something I know y'all probably are all waiting for. That's right, the NFL, the Super Bowl is this weekend, and you want to know what Sports Guy Clif is going to say is his prediction. Now, we're going to have Tom Brady versus Nick Foles, Fletcher Cox in that defense versus the offense led by Tom Brady. You're going to have Bill Belichick versus Doug Peterson. You're going to have all this great thing, the prominent New England Patriots versus the underdog Philadelphia Eagles. Now, on the previous show, I said that I had to put my safe money on the Patriots. I stand by that thought process. I really do. But something in my heart and in my gut is telling me that could be an upset on the horizon. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and pick the Eagles to win because that is who I'm going to be rooting for. And I think that the score is going to be very close, something along the lines of 31-28, maybe 34-27. Points are going to be put up on the board, but I think the determining factor is that front four of that defense, the defensive linemen for the Philadelphia Eagles, are going to put constant pressure on Tom Brady, and the Eagles are going to be able to make the adjustments on defense to make the impact of the game to go ahead and pull off this upset. And hopefully Nick Foles can play a pretty good game to keep the Eagles offense in it. I know it's a daring prediction, but that's what I'm going to go with. I can live with being wrong, but can everybody live without Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl championship? So you may agree with me. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think the Patriots are going to continue with their legacy and win another Super Bowl. Maybe you think that this Michigan State stuff isn't as big or maybe even worse than what I explained. Maybe you don't think that Blake Griffin is going to do well in Detroit. Either way, I want to hear from you. View this video. Then put a comment in the comment section so I can see what y'all are feeling and what y'all are thinking. Because you know I'm always going to give you my point of view. Sports Guy Clif coming live from the Skybox. Until next time.